Hey, I'm just saying, don't sleep on Lekro. He's been playing well.
Okay.
He's gonna be a big impact player. Like you want this
Also,
star
no
player.
women are interested in him, so he's obviously going to do well.
Oh, jeez, jeez.
All right, guys, welcome to Put Up or Shut Up, the second installment. I am joined by three of some of the brightest minds in the Counter-Strike community. Some more questionable than others, that's for sure. But nonetheless, let me go ahead and introduce Josh Nissan, might be known as Steel. Hello, Josh.
Yo, what's up? Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought you were going to introduce us all. I didn't know this
Come on
was
down,
gonna be
the water's warm.
All right.
Mr. Duncan Shields, you might know him as Thorin.
Hello, I'm here. That's true.
And funny man, Eric the Bear Stromberg.
Welcome. It's great to be back, and I'm surprised I'm back. But you know what? I keep on trucking. That's what I gotta do.
There we go. I mean, everybody here, we know the rules of the game. We know what's at stake. Not only is it points per question, but it is also your pride that could take a huge hit. Without any further ado, let's get started with the first question. And the first question is going to be, what team was the biggest surprise, good or bad, from this weekend at iBuyPower Masters or Northern Arena? We're going to start with you, Mr. Nissan.
All right. Well, I picked Echo Fox, and it surprises me that Echo Fox will actually win a match. Now, I know you're responsible, B, but they only beat Flipside. But Flipside is legendary status at the next major, so obviously they're a top team. As a dead team walking in, as well, I guess it's ruined now because the announcement's out. There's no surprise that they got bodied by Tyloo not once, but twice in the same event. I mean, Tyloo, of course, the same team that got 16-0'd by C9 and said that they weren't even the same solar system of talent as C9. So Tyloo thrashing Echo Fox is just funny. Thrashed so hard that Mo dropped the team.
Okay, let's move on to you, Duncan.
Okay. I actually had Optic because, I mean, they won the event, but that in itself was the surprise to me because I thought Optic was kind of stuck at a level where if you put them in a best of three against like a team like G2 or Envious was at the same tournament, I would have said they're probably not going to win that best of three, you know. So I thought they kind of played above the level I've seen in the past. And yeah, I was just impressed that they managed to win the tournament. So there was a big jump for me there.
And Mr. Stromberg, please.
I was a little confused on like trying to pull who here and there, but I think I'm gonna go with FaZe on terms of yes, they aren't the best team. Okay, they aren't that great, but as much roster changes they have, they barely lose to top tier 1 teams, and you'd see little brilliance in their play, just a little bit, but it's showing that finally after so long of people hyping them up, we're actually becoming a better team. Maybe possibly a tier 1 team in the future. I don't know. Time will tell.
All right, Duncan. Duncan, go at him. Let's hear what you got.
About FaZe?
You can start where you want.
Oh,
Start where you
okay.
need to start.
Right. I'll start with Steel then. So I went the other way on the Echo Fox one. I actually thought this just showed how bad Echo Fox were because, like, Flipside, basically, one of their new players couldn't attend because of visa issues, so they had to just use a random guy who could come. So the fact that, like, they were just a non-existent team there. So really what happened was Echo Fox played 4 maps against Tyloo, lost 3 of them, and a bunch of them were like overtimes and stuff. And the thing is, I don't think Tyloo's a very good team. So as a result, I amazingly found a way to be even more underwhelmed by Echo Fox, that they couldn't even really win any of these matches. So I'll just say that for that one. Like, I think Echo Fox has just shown they were bad. And then on Eric's one, I kind of agree with Eric, actually. I think, like, FaZe actually looks like they're on the up and up, you know? I mean, they still haven't really beaten any really world-class competition in, like, a best-of-3 type scenario. But as he says, they changed another player, and I think they're gradually improving. So I think there's some signs of potential there.
Steel, give it to him. What do you got?
Duncan's pick was which? Optic?
Yep.
I agree. Optic winning a tournament. I didn't actually get to watch any of the matches, obviously, I was at the other tournament, so... I can only agree with him. I have nothing else to say about that. And then FaZe, but with FaZe, I saw FaZe in action, and I actually thought that FaZe played really well the entire event. Even though they lost to Immortals, they had a 15-9 lead or something in that first match. They lost in overtime, but then they just completely obliterated the next teams they played. Granted, one of the teams was TSM, but they still had a really good show against Renegades.
Go on, Eric. I know you want to get.
Oh yeah, I want to get down and dirty. I mean, I thought Optic was pretty much the obvious answer for this whole thing. I mean, Optic is definitely, NA team, and they won. They beat European top teams. Why not? Let's go with that. As for Echo Fox, I think they're trash. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Not alive.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about them. They have this talent, or I don't know if to call it talent, but they've been a team for so long, and
I think it's called sponsorship.
And the sponsorship.
Yeah,
and,
you're right. Yeah, they have been sponsored for a long time.
And
that's the best thing they
there's
have.
no improvement. They're just like it's stagnant. They keep doing the same thing over and over, and it's just upsetting to just keep seeing the same team beat these mediocre North American teams. But when it matters, they just drop the ball and everything, and just lose. It's.
Can you stop bullying these guys?
I'm sorry. Nothing personal. It's nothing personal against them, That's just my 2 cents. My opinion means.
All right. Does anybody have any closing thoughts? Does anybody want to walk away with the point? Let's hear it. Anybody have any closing thoughts to say about that?
Can we all
agree that Echo Fox is garbage? Yeah, that seems like the go-to thing there is to talk about Echo Fox. But I am going to have to say that Echo Fox, by a long shot, has disappointed us all. And moreover, I believe that to be the valid point. So, with that being said, I'm going to have to award the point there to Mr. Nissan. So,
okay.
Congratulations.
That's how this game works?
That's how this game works.
So wait a minute. The question was, who was the biggest surprise? And it's that we all agree is being is the correct answer.
They surprised us to how they actually are.
He proved it. He actually proved that they are garbage. So it works out just fine.
Okay, then.
Not a big problem. Let's go ahead and move on.
I think I know your election's working now, but let's keep going. Let's keep rolling, guys. This electoral currents, what's going on here?
Hey,
how are we doing, America?
Build a wall, all right? So we're going to go ahead and give that one to Steele. But let's move on. Who was the most standout player from IBA Power and or Northern Arena this weekend? And we're going to give it to Thorin.
Okay, so I will just put the caveat that the way the game works is we can't all pick the same person. So I actually think this one was a very interesting one for like the MVP type candidate, because I actually think there was 3 people at this tournament who all had cases to be made for them. So it turns out the one that I've got is Shocks from G2. And it might seem a little bit weird because in the final he had a couple of bad maps, but you look at the tournament overall, and I think he played a better caliber of competition in most of the tournament. And actually, I think aside from those last 2 maps in the final, he was very, very, very good, in fact.
The Bears?
I'd say Mixwell from Optic. He pretty much, it's him and Tarek for the most part carrying the team. The whole team played well, but Mixwell, his AWP was dominant. He could be considered the best AWP in North America now. Even though he's not from North America, he plays there. He plays for Optic, and his last 15, 20 games, he's been dominating the scene with his AWP. He's a big impact for Optic, and he's one of the main reasons why they're winning.
Mr. Nissan, please.
I picked Alu. Yeah. I picked Alu because he was playing so consistently throughout the entire tournament for his team. And even though they lost in a close overtime game against Immortals, Alu was just always consistently that rock for his team. I think he had the second highest rating by 0.3 difference, or sorry, 0.03 difference. And he was just getting all these clutch rounds, consistently just doing a good job with his up. And it just really opens my eyes and makes me understand why everyone says he's got big balls.
All right, Thorin, go ahead, take it away.
Okay. On one level, I kind of agree with that. Alu did have a particularly good tournament, especially as in FaZe. You look at when he came into that team, a lot of people would have expected him to be more on the supportive end of the equation, but he did go pretty ham there. With that said, though, FaZe did only place top 4. So for me, obviously still didn't watch the tournament, but it has to be someone from Northern Arena probably because, as Eric said, Mixwell, Tarek were both statistically standout players. And I think for Shocks, I kind of make the case that he was very good as well, but since he lost, the stats aren't going to be as crazy. So I think that's more of a context opinion on that one, I guess. So I kind of agree with both guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think Shox is a very good player and all, but again, if you do so well and then kind of fall off in the finals, I mean, it's like, is he getting nervous? Is he kind of choking a little bit? Is the other team better? I mean, it's great to do well, but if you fall short in the finals, I mean, it's just a little. It shows a little character that maybe doesn't have what it takes to, to get to that next level. To win a championship. He could probably get there, but like once all the pressure's on him
with a time machine.
I mean, he gets there, but he gets kind of, it seems like he's not pulling it all together. I don't know if it's his team or himself or his leadership, but I mean, you look at Mixwell, he dominated, his team dominated, and it kind of showed this tournament in the past couple months that he's a really huge impact and played really well at the tournament. As for Alu, I mean, yeah. I think I went over my 10 cents. I think.
well, that's something.
All right.
No, wait, no. Okay, let me finish this other thing. Let's talk about as FaZe is getting a better team. You look at the teams that have played at this tournament. Is Team Renegades, which is I think an underestimated team where they are actually a good team, but they're on and off a lot of times. So it was good for them to be able to beat them. But then they play TSM, which is their garbage team. So I mean, who cares if they can do well against a tier 3 team? Like it's whatever,
Wow.
Yeah.
Go on, Josh. Follow up.
I was just gonna say, like, with regards to Shox, like I like where Duncan's coming from, that it doesn't matter about like a couple of maps in like a tournament. If he's got a good performance throughout the entire thing, he can still be a very valuable player. However, for it to be a standout player, I mean, Shox has a history, and Thorin's got a history of praising Shox for this. Shox always been a standout player, so for him to be considered a standout player now, it'd be more like a consistency thing, instead of him just being I don't know. I don't think he's actually standing out at the moment. I think he's just being like, oh, that's just Shox doing normal Shox stuff. However, Mixwell, he's coming onto Optic. Optic's this, like, I don't know, I guess they're a tier 1 NA team, and they're able to take the first LAN victory, and Mixwell's a part of that and a huge part of that. So I think Mixwell is definitely more of a standout player than Shox would be.
Okay. Anybody have any rebuttals for this man? Anybody?
Yeah, I've got one for you. So my problem with the Tarek and Mixwell one, again, is like, if we're just looking at numbers, yeah, they win hands down. I mean, they had the way better plus minus, they had the better KPR, etc. My problem is, you look at the tournament, and because they finished second in their group, they actually got to play 3 maps against NRG, who I think most people would agree is one of the worst teams in this entire tournament. Meanwhile, and then they also got to play Heroic, because Heroic got an upset over G2 in 1 map. So they got kind of like 2/3 of their games in the tournament weren't against what you'd call the best in the actual competition. Meanwhile, G2 actually played, like, obviously 3 maps against Optic, 2 against Envious, 3 against Team Liquid. So I think overall the opposition that Shox played was better. By a degree, the players from Optic are a lot better at shooting noobs from NRG. They can have that award if you like.
But by that same line of thought, the very first game that FaZe had, they lost to Immortals in a best of 1 in overtime, and right there, they couldn't get first or second place. Like, they were destined to get best, third or fourth. So, I mean, it's just the tournament format, right?
Sure.
So we're arguing like it's the tournament format that gets Optic this win. It's the tournament format that makes FaZe not get first place, because they lost 1 best of 1 the very first game of the entire tournament.
Can I just check one thing? Because I haven't, I know the show hasn't had many episodes. Was Eric actually purposely trolling us with like when he was saying about how Shox might get to the level where he could win tournaments? Was he actually purposely trolling there?
I
need help. I need help.
You sound just a little triggered, and I could be wrong.
Is this real?
I mean,
that's all I need to know.
It could be mind games, Thorin. I'm playing. I'm playing for the long run here. Okay, I'm playing for the long run. You're already heated up over there.
Fair enough.
Looking good for me.
Okay. I'll bear it in mind.
All right, before we close it out, Eric, do you have anything you want to close with? Do you have any closing statement? Strengthen your argument.
I mean, I thought Mixwell. I mean, I think it's clear he won the tournament. How many of those people that we mentioned won the tournament this weekend? Mixwell's team won the tournament, so I think that he deserves that notion for this question. At least for this week.
We're talking about standout player, though.
Yeah, he is a standout player. He is standout. He stood out for Optic.
Okay. Well, give the point, boys.
All right,
Mind
you know what,
games
Eric, take
again.
the point. Eric, you get the point, De Beers, and here's why. I mean, he does provide a valid point that he was able to help secure the victory for his team overall in the tournament. So there is that. Now, what I will say is Shocked is still a monster, but we don't have that time machine. So there is that. We're going to award that point to Eric. Not a big deal. There's still a chance here. Thorin, I thought you'd be doing much better personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here did. But it would appear as though you might have met your match in these guys, and I would have never personally have guessed it, but there it is nonetheless. Okay. Now, let's move forward to question 3. With Kenny S's resurgence, back to dominance, name the next player you expect to find his groove again.
Okay, so I'll start with this one because it's me. I'm going to say JW. Now, the reason why I say JW, he's been playing well, okay? He's been playing pretty well, but the JW I'm thinking of, it's a top 3 player in the world, JW. And when I watched him play against Fnatic the other day on Train, he dominated them. He's just jumping around, he's opping, he took the match in his own hands, and that's the JW that we have to see for Godsend to, be that top 10 team, at least a contender.
Okay. Josh, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to have to pick Smiths, and the reason why I'm picking Smiths,
oh boy,
like Kenny S, Smiths is a French-based opper. He's had tremendous success on teams in the past. As a former major winner, he's got all the tools necessary to climb back into his groove. And then, of course, his resilience, all the attacks from the community, from these casters, these really good analysts like Dustin Moret. He's able to just internalize all this hatred and stuff, and he's going to be able to channel it. And we're just going to see what.
Hold on. Go ahead, Thorin. Save a little bit, Josh. Save a little bit.
Okay, sorry, guys.
You're going to need all the ammunition for that fight that you can find.
All right.
Go ahead, Thorin.
So I'm going to say Guardian, actually, because, you look at this guy, and over the history of CSGO, he's always found a way to be pretty good. And the slump he's in recently, I think, has unfortunately been exacerbated by the fact that Navi's lost their in-game leader. They've had to put Caesar's in-game leader. They brought Simple in, so they're still adjusting there because obviously Simple takes the AWP. But I look at Navi, and I think sooner or later, 2 of those 3 star players are going to be rolling. Simple's already going, and at the moment, I have it as Flame. He's the one who probably isn't going to get going because he was kind of really coached heavily by Starix. So I think Guardian, sooner or later, Guardian's going to get it together again. He's just got 2 it's that one thing of form is temporary, class is permanent.
Ooh. All right. Who wants to go at that? Let's go. Let's hear it, Josh. You're first. Oh, no.
All right.
Josh, you want
I think Guardian's a good pick as well, but when it comes to the resurgence, I think there are those roadblocks. Yet there's too many stars on that team, especially Simple, just kind of impeaching the word? I don't know. Going into the role of Guardian, I think there's going to be this internal turmoil because of it. I think he's not going to be able to shine as much as he should be able to. And sorry, I forget what Eric's was.
Eric's was JW.
I like that. JW was one of those most impactful players when he was on his Fnatic era. So JW definitely has the capacity to come back and shine. It's just I don't know if he can do it with the players that he's with right now. If we're talking about shining with other star players, that's what Thorin's argument about Guardian was. We've got Scream and Shocks on the same team as Smith, so he's got the people around him to support him to regaining that status.
Go on, next victim.
I want to say that if we're talking about Guardian here, he's engaged. All right, that extra hour that you spent, you spent. Oh, I'm gonna be DMing right before going to bed. That's no more for Guardian. He's gonna be in bed with his woman, watching anime or whatever he does. And so it's in order to be that top player, you got to sacrifice a lot. And now he got a nice woman to warm his bed at night. He's gonna be choosing that over CS. So I don't know if he'll ever get to that form again. The old Guardian. The winning Guardian.
Okay, so first of all, I'll start with Eric's here. So on JW, the problem I have with JW is that if you look at when he was in Fnatic and they were at their best and they were the best team, he actually wasn't the best player in the team. And he used to play this very weird style where he was almost just I'd say the playmaker, as in he just and he initiated plays on the map, but it wasn't even he got the plays and he killed the other people more than they killed him. His stats actually even back then used to be same amount of deaths as kills, basically. So the problem I have is I feel like for him to even be at his best again, he needs to be in a team where he has other star players and he's kind of creating the action that they then clean up. So at the moment, my problem with their team is they basically only have Flusher. Like, aside from Flusher, they don't have anyone else at the moment who's capable of star level play. So I think, first of all, he hasn't really shown the signs he's going to get back to that style of play. And I actually feel like at the moment, he's heading more down the path of trying to just be like the primary AWPer, which I don't even think really fits him the best. I think that old role was good, but you need the team to allow it to work. And then in terms of Josh's, like, I mean, again, I assume this is just trolling. So I feel like, bearing in mind the question was like, we'll get their groove again. I mean, in what Smith's groove was about like late 2014. So at this point in time, it's like some Weekend at Bernie that Shots and Scream are pulling with this guy. He's never coming back to his groove until we learn how to reanimate a corpse.
Hey, I'm just saying, don't sleep on Lekro. He's been playing well. He's gonna be he's gonna be a big impact player. Like, you want this.
Also, no
player.
women are interested in him, so he's obviously gonna do well.
Oh, jeez. But don't fall asleep on Lekro. He's been playing well. Codsent just beat Fnatic. That's a surge in their confidence. Even though it's like a rival match, you always play better against your rivals. I'm just saying, like, Godsent's on the trend to becoming a better team, and JW is going to be a big part of that.
I'm really glad you tied that one back in. Josh, please close us out.
No, I just like how these two just basically wrecked each other's candidates for me, just setting me up. I mean, right there, the Guardian being engaged thing, bam, Thorin's instantly just out. Like, there's no coming back from that. And then Thorin just historian mode out of JW. JW was never really the star player. He was always like middle of the pack, and he only shined because he's got Olaf there and Flusher there to pick up the pieces when he screws up. So right there, I think both those candidates are just out the window. But Smith's, he's got the star players around him, unlike JW, and he has a history of success.
Well, you have to bank on Smith having a good game within the last 2 years. You know,
he's had a good game just within the last hour. So,
well, congratulations, Smith. I don't want to burn him too hard with the burn train for him, but, you know, I mean, if he starts to do well, I could see G2 being a really better team. But, I mean, with history shown, as for Smith, it lasts like 6 months. He just went, and yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right, so with the points, or at least the conclusions here that Eric brought to the table, in that a woman will be the downfall of Guardian, and that, well, I mean, I guess Smith's had a good game in the last hour out of the past 2 years. I'm going to have to give this one to Duncan. Duncan, you're going to get this point because Guardian, he is explosive. His team coming off ESL 1 New York, et cetera, et cetera. The only thing I could see that could go wrong there is that there's some, conflict with Simple, but Simple's a monster too. So hopefully they're able to play off of each other. Welcome to the game, Duncan. You get your first point. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next question. If everyone was a free agent, who would you draft number 1 overall? And I'm going to start with Mr. Stromberg.
Oh, okay. I'll start with me again. That's all good. I would pick Fallen because in this game, in Counter-Strike, how it is these days, an in-game leader is invaluable. All right? There are not many great in-game leaders, and Fallen is a great in-game leader. And it shows because his team's been number 1 this entire year, and he's been playing for over 10 years. So he has a lot of experience, a lot of good, positive vibes. At least that's what I've seen from the outside. I don't know and the team base, but he looks like a player that I would want on my team.
Josh?
I was going to pick Stewie 2K, and he's kind of like a jack of all trades, but he's also a master of all the trades. He came in, he's a new player, he's still like 18 or 19 years old. He's able to use the yacht. He's really powerful with the rifle. He's an in-game leader on his team, and he's taken his team Cloud9 that's not really seen much success lately, and he's got them a LAN victory 2 now, actually. One. They lost to Immortals this weekend, sorry. So he has that success with the team. He's a new player, but he's explosive. And if we're talking about peak performance, might not even be at his peak. He's got a long career ahead of him, and he's a young dude, and he learns everything like a sponge. So he's able to just learn everything and apply it to his next games.
Okay, so I'm going to take Simple because, I mean, first of all, I think he's the best player at the moment in CSGO. And also, I think if when we're talking about a draft type scenario, if you did one of those combines and you could test all the metrics of a player, I think he'd max out all the stats. You know, has amazing pistols, sick rifles, amazing AWP, pretty good clutch player, very good work ethic. Like, yeah, he has his downsides, obviously, in terms of some of the personal stuff. But if we're talking about just starting with like your star player, you're going to build your franchise around, I think that's a great piece to start with. That's the biggest gun for me.
All right, go at it, boys.
What's the metric for sitting there saying, "Adren, you're when he's sitting next to you on land"?
That's how you get better teammates.
Well, I mean,
How's that been working for Guardian?
I'm just gonna say that Simple, great fragger. Obviously, you can watch his stream, watch his point of view. He can get killed. That is not the problem with Simple. Problem is mentality. CS is a mental game. All right. If you have a toxic teammate, even when you're losing a little behind to a team that you shouldn't be losing, you can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the energy that he brings. And even though Simple's a great player, I mean, like just an hour ago, they just got destroyed by Team Liquid. All right. I can't imagine what's going through his mind when his team is losing to a worse former team. He's probably going to there, and he's going crazy. He's probably like maybe he's controlling what he says, but the energy is probably just down. He's probably just mentally frustrated, and he's the type of player that brings his team down.
Well, I mean, one of my big problems with Eric's pick is like I actually kind of think it is a good pick overall. Like obviously, like yeah, you get the in-game leader. He's obviously a very sick player, and you start the franchise with him. I like that. My downside is that all the success that Fallen's teams have had at each level in CSGO that we've seen so far were very much based on being able to get the players that played for him to buy into his whole system. So while I agree, I mean, props that he managed to do it, I think actually, if assuming this isn't a scenario where he just picks all of his teammates, if you just put a bunch of players with him, I don't know that he'd be able to do that as well, you know. And if he was just forced to be just an in-game leader or just a player, I don't think he'd have as insane an impact as he does right now. So that's why, in a sense, I can understand why you'd take an in-game leader. But I think there's other in-game leaders who maybe are better at the talent of just taking any 4 players with them, you know, making a team. Whereas I feel like Fallen's the guy where it has to be his team with his type of players. And then for Josh's pick, like I agree, this is another good pick because this is someone where he has potential in front of him and he's come a long way. My big issue with Stewie2K is at the moment, I still feel like there's a level he hasn't gone to against the top international competition. Like it feels like he's still stumbling at that point. And it's not that doesn't mean he won't make it past. It's just that, you know, that's like a threshold that some people get past and some just never do, you know. We've seen some NA players that just kind of get stuck there. So I also feel like the other downside to Stewie2K is since he's an in-game leader, he has said a number of things in interviews which are really kind of alarming to me. Like, I mean, he really thinks that Cloud9 is good on 6 of the 7 maps, and he thinks that they just never need to play Nuke. And when even though some of his teammates want to play Nuke, he just says, no, I don't think I'm good at it. I never played it in the past. So, I mean, these are all things as like an in-game leader, which is clearly part of his impact, that are kind of like are a bit alarming to me if I'm looking to have my franchise go down the line, you know. And
the thing to note on top of that, Stewie2K, C9 did not start to do really, really well until Automatic came to the team. So it's not just Stewie, you know, making everything happen. It's Automatic coming and pretty much complimenting him, as we say. And with Fallen, yeah, as you said that, he needs the type of players that he has to have to win. But I mean, if anyone could take any 4 people and win, then you'd see that a lot more common than it is. It's very rare to really just, you know, pick 4 players and go all the way to the top. It's almost impossible. You have to put in a lot of time and work. And Fallen's system, he can make players play well. I mean, he can play through their strengths. You see Taco, I mean, he's not the biggest fragger, but his entry killing is a huge impact in the game, and a lot of it has to do with Fallen's system and complementing these players' play styles.
Josh, I need to hear more from you.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Duncan said about Fallen. Yeah, he's individually talented. He's got a good system that works, but I mean, if you say make a team of like, here's a bunch of people and none of them are Brazilian, make a team, make it work, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, he needs to be like, it's just like that old boys club, except that old boys club is just Brazilian CS players. So I don't think Fallen's going to be able to do that or find the same amount of success if he has to do it with like an international team, for example. Whereas Stewie2K, I feel like he could. And to, I guess, go against what Duncan said about Stewie2K, yeah, he's new and maybe he has these like he thinks like oh yeah, we don't need to play nuke, or yeah, we're good at 6 of the 7 maps. He's, yes, young, inexperienced, and maybe a little dumb in that regard, but he's got so much potential to grow. And if you want to just like completely disregard potential, look at how far he's come in the last 6 months, in the last year. Look where he was a year ago to where he is today. He was a nobody a year ago, and now he's like on C9 winning lands. What was C9 doing before him? They were in a rut. They hadn't done anything since summer last year. And summer last year, what they do? They had Sean, Anti-Strat, Fnatic, and Envy. Those were the only 2 teams that they had to beat. They didn't play against like VP and Navi and all those good teams. They just Anti-Stratted a dead team and Fnatic, who was completely predictable and on the way to being dead as well. So they were dead team walking. So in those regards, I think like Stewie 2K is a way better pick than Fallen. And then Simple, yeah, he's just, I mean, what Eric said about Simple, he's just going to bring the team morale down massively just by being like, just give me gun.
All right, Duncan, I'm going to let you have one more go at this. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, obviously the premise is like, are we picking the teammates? Are we just putting them in there? I mean, the good thing about someone like Simple is, one thing that people don't tend to give him enough credit for is like, first of all, he doesn't seem to need his teammates to actually play that well for him to play very well. Like, he'll just give you the numbers in the game in and game out, which is kind of rare actually in Counter-Strike. And then secondly, I think what's amazing about him is he's someone where he seems to just have like a natural confidence that, unlike many other players out there, like a play that if you're just going to put them with new teammates or a newer player, a lot of them have to build their confidence up over time. So for me, the thing about Simple is he has like a winner's mentality and he has fantastic skills. And the difference is, I would rather work with the guy and find the right teammates and work on the team play aspect than have to get other people who have all the other components, but you're still working on skill or you're trying to fit them in the system. I feel like with Simple, there's lots of players, combinations you could go with that would work around him and would win.
Well, unfortunately, I have to pick one of you for a point, right? I think that's how this works. So, based off the points alone, or at least the points you have made, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. This one's even tougher because even Eric came out of troll mode just for this question, was able to put together some decent points. I'm gonna have to side. I believe on the fact that we've seen Simple in the past implemented in a team and made work. You know, with Liquid, so to say. We've seen him put into that lineup and we've seen it successful. So I'm going to have to award the point there to Thorin. But what I will say is Fallen System is definitely something to talk about there to Bears, except for, you know, it does seem pretty limited to the Brazilian Counter-Strike scene. He seems like he has been able to do work with some of those players, but is that enough? And, of course, Stewie 2K, one of my former children, I'm going to have to say that he's a versatile player. He's actually shown through in the past year, but he's actually creating his own limits. He's creating his own skill ceilings right there, just simply in the interview. I know the interview that Thorin's talking about. He's saying, you know, the maps, we don't want to touch nuke. I don't want to touch nuke. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Thorin on that one, and you guys can save your QQs for later on that. But let's move into the final question of, I guess, what would be considered the main event, and this should be a real good one. What team has to see a roster change in order to see success? And we're going to start with you, Mr. Nissan.
I said Liquid needs to see a roster change to see success. And the reason for this is Liquid hasn't been seeing success since they added Pimp and Lost Simple for the roster. A small change like that has big implications for the team. I mean, just having Liquid fall off that drastically from losing one player, if they grab Simple back, like, we'll see them just completely dominate everyone, like be major finalists type of thing. I don't know. That's
all right. Fair enough, Thorin.
Yeah, I actually picked G2 because, I mean, they're a team where I was actually amazed when they had the success and they were making those finals of big tournaments, because the way they did it was just like some ridiculous, simple blueprint of like 2-star players go crazy on everyone. The third player is just a solid player and adds to the numbers. don't really have proper tactics, just have a couple of things you run. Like your start is like sometimes your entry man, sometimes your clutcher, and the in-game leader. You basically have 2 maps you're good on. You steal a bunch of wins on other maps. So I looked at them and I was like, this can't last. So I think it hasn't lasted. It's finally run its course. People know how to play them. Some of the players cooled off. So I think unless they change a player, now you can go many ways with that. I don't think they're going to have that anywhere close to the level of success they had before.
Eric, please bestow your wisdom upon us.
Well, I'll get into the argument thing after, but I'm gonna say Team Energy. All right, listen to me here. These guys made playoffs with Gabi and Legia bottom fragging every single match. So obviously something is there. There is potential with Energy. All right, they have a system, their play style. They somehow still made playoffs and. ESO Pro League, which I know it's NACS, but it's still an accomplishment compared to like you got Renegades who barely made playoffs and all these other teams that like Team Liquid who also made it. But I'm just saying, if you could exchange 2 players from Team Energy, they could actually contend to be a top 5 team in North America. Don't get me wrong, North America easily. But I don't know how they do it. I don't know how to do it with 2 bottom fraggers like that.
All right, which one of you want it first?
Well, I'll just touch on Eric's NRG pick. It's like you're God B's this in-game leader for that team. So I don't know what you're thinking of, like, oh, the bottom fraggers are, change them out and suddenly they're going to see success. Like, who's going to be successful on that team? Like, you
could put him as coach. Put Gabi as coach and let someone else, because his system isn't like he has to be in game calling out. You have to go here and there. They have slow defaults. They have coordinated nades and stuff. That's something he can teach outside, in practices and whatnot, and then call what strat he needs to do or have his own little game plan and whatnot.
Who are the rest of the players on the team? It's like Peter, Tapson, and Fugly?
Fugly. And Tapson, Fugly, and Peter consistently, it's on and off, but you see them top frag every once in a while. You never see Legia top frag. You never see Gabi ever top frag. They're dead weights. And if you can replace those 2 players, I think that's where you find success. Because the question is finding success. We're talking about G2 here, who, yes, they're...
Isn't this supposed to be Steel analyzing your point? Just you explaining it more.
I'm bringing everything, okay? I'm bringing everything in here, okay? We talk about G2. Okay. They are a successful team, even with Smith, even though they don't win that major that everyone wants them to win, or people in France want them to win. They still manage to beat good teams. They beat good teams even with Smiths. All right. I mean,
not anymore.
Something.
They just lost to Optic in a best of 3. So
they do occasionally. Optic is good though.
No, let me get at you on this one, Eric, because that NRG one is probably the most bullshit attempt, because what you've done is you've taken one of the worst possible teams and said if I changed players, they would have some success, then defined success as top 5 online in NA. Like, that is no success whatsoever. Also, they are literally a team of rejects. The one player who actually made them get to that point is Godby, because he gave them some kind of basis. So you take him out, they're dead already. They're all terrible. They all would have no careers left over, and they would have that top 5 NA isn't success. Now, what was Steele's pick?
Liquid.
Liquid, right. I actually think Liquid probably could get better if they made him. The problem I have with the Liquid move is that I don't know what move they could make, and I don't think even they do. Like, the problem is, again, with Liquid, they hold on to these players, Nitro, Elige, etc., and they just hold them forever, and then they change other players. And eventually, at one point in time, you probably have to notice that there's something systemic that's a problem and actually blow the team up. So my problem there is, I think you'd have to make such a radical overhaul, I don't even know it'd be Liquid anymore.
I mean, Liquid is definitely, we're wondering what happened to them, but for some reason, they always show up in like major tournaments. They always end up beating good teams. They always getting far in big tournaments. It's just everything else is really bad, which, I mean, I have no idea why. We don't know them personally, or at least how they play in the team, but I'm saying they do have some success, at least on LAN,
Sure.
So they are a decent team. In most
they did have Simple in the team for a while.
A little bit, but then even without
that was my initial point.
Okay.
All right, for Eric's choice, well, he's completely trolling right now, so I'm not even
Whoa, I'm not trolling at all.
Okay. I'd say it's more that he's stating the obvious, but it's a valid answer. I mean, it works. So go on, Josh. Let's hear it.
All right. So with regards to G2, I think that the major issue that would block them from success is, I guess, Shocks, and as good of a player he is, he's kind of in the same mindset as Fallen in the sense that he has a system, and that if he doesn't get it his way, like you never see him lasting on a team for a long period of time. Every time he's on a team and they have success, he's always either cut from the team or quits the team because he clashes with another in-game leader. He needs to have control of it, and he needs a system to work in a specific way for them to have success. So I think like right there, who are you going to add into that roster that's going to like mesh well with Shox and have everything work out? And then you have to also point on to the fact that his English might not be that sick. So you have to find people within the French scene, and that's going to be a huge issue in itself. But Liquid they're an English-speaking team. They can get international players as long as they can speak English. And we've seen them have success before they lost a player and made a small roster swap. So we know like if they're able to get that player back, they can be back to being a successful team. And then I don't even know where I want to start with this NRG pick. Just like, I just don't understand how keeping a core of Taps and Peter and Fugly is just like this.
I mean, the problem with
concept.
Bears' pick, right, is that he is technically right. If you took all 5 players off NRG and put 5 good players on, it would have success. So he's right on the most basic level. It just kind of chance, you know?
Reminds me of the Mitch Hedberg joke. I'm going to remove all the words from Mitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they were playoffs, all right? They made playoffs, okay? With that team. I'm just saying that. That's a big compliment.
Wow, crazy.
Playoffs.
What? Wait, was this after Renegades bowed out and was like, we can't make this because we got to go
No,
with the meta?
no, they already made playoffs ahead of Renegades. See, that's
Okay,
impressive.
well,
That's impressive with that lineup. So there's something brewing there. Maybe they have more potential. I mean,
Could be cheating online.
I mean, I'm not going to say no. You never know these days. Like, you look at.
All right, but by all means, Thorin, I need to hear more from you on your argument.
On my particular argument for myself?
Yes.
Okay, so the main thing I think for this one is, like, even though Steele said, like, oh, for G2, like, who would they take? And it has to be French players. I mean, that's the thing. First of all, I can kind of cheat on this one because G2 definitely will be changing players after the major, and they will take NV players, and they will make a better team. So there's 2 obvious ways you can go with this team. Like, first of all, Smiths is obviously a candidate to be replaced. So if you want to go straight for an AWPer, you can definitely get Kenny S. I mean, it has been intimated by Kenny S that he will play with Shox at some point in the future. He knows he's trapped in hell over there in Envious. So I think add Kenny S in, and you've already got a lot more firepower. But let's say you want to go the other route. Let's say Scream and Shox are going to remain the star players, you know. So let's go with a support player. I mean, a classic one would be to bring over NBK. This is a guy that has incredible experience, can be very, very good from the support position. And I think you add in either of those players, and immediately that team becomes a lot more dangerous, a lot deeper. And I actually think on the NBK one, he can maybe even do like secondary calling. So I think that one's one where I think it will, whether or not we agree, I win the point. It will actually happen someday anyway, and they will have more success. So history will prove me to be correct.
Can we, like, in a few months from now, just like come back to the show and then just readjust the points?
Yeah.
I don't like. No.
Send me the trophy,
sucks.
whoever won. Because I deserve it at that point.
Well, I'm just saying G2 already found success. They're already a top 10 team. I mean, yeah, they're not winning majors.
But they're falling off now, though.
but they're still a good team, regardless of having, as people say, Smiths or whatever. You know, the current meme is of G2. I mean, they're still a good team. Like, yeah.
But isn't success relative? Like, sure, to you or an NRG player to be top 5 in NA would be obviously a marvel.
It's
of
a
modern
step.
science
It's a start. It's getting there, okay?
But the point is, if you're G2, you've got Shox and Scream, some of the best players in the world. You want to be winning events. And at the moment, they're not even winning Northern Arena Montreal. All they had is, like, routine when they went to Canada. That's all they got. They didn't get a cup that was gold. They got a cup full of fries with curd and gravy.
It's pretty good, though.
All right, so I'm going to award a point here, and I'm just going to start by saying, Eric, your answer is absolute garbage.
Wow.
Energy is the most blatant answer to be had here.
What are you talking
aside
about?
Aside from even saying like an Echo Fox.
Outside the box, okay? I think outside the box here, and you guys will be eating your words when they become top 5 NA. Just saying.
Well, all right.
Well, there you go. Success.
It's not even that bold in his prediction. That's what I love.
But I do have to sit here and I have to look at you, Duncan, and I have to say that like speculative roster changes, albeit if it happens or not, isn't something that we can bank on. We do know that they will be a much stronger team. With that sort of roster change, we do see a Kenny S come in for a Smiths. Obviously, that's an upgrade. But it's a tough one too, because if I look at Liquid and I say, like, okay, how much of an overhaul does this team need? And is it Liquid anymore at that point? But I do think that Liquid would still come out stronger with their core, with the addition right there. I'm going to have to give this one to Mr. Steele, Mr. Nissan. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, Eric. Your answer was still and will remain the worst answer of the show in the entirety of its history, which is all of 2 episodes.
Wow.
But we'll take it for what it is. Okay, guys, we're going to go into the playoff round here. Unfortunately, DeBears will not be joining us in participation. He will be here in spirit and in judgment. But we do have Steele and Thorin going head-to-head on rapid-fire questionnaire-type topics. 5 max. 1 point will be awarded per. You will have 30 seconds to explain your side after I mention the question. So, without further ado, let's get it started. Duncan and Steele, who is going to win IEM Oakland?
Navi.
SK.
And timer, please. Let's go to Thorin, starting now.
Okay, so even though I wouldn't necessarily say they are the favorite, I think they will win the event because I look at the event. There's no Virtus Pro, no Dignitas. So I'd actually think that the field is fairly weak at the top end. It's pretty good in the middle. And so I think for Na'Vi, they have so much talent there. They only need 2 out of the 3-star players to go off, and they can win a lot of these matches. Top 3 make the playoffs anyway. So I think they're going to make the playoffs. And from there on out, I mean, they can win their map, certainly, because they can be picking the Trainer Mirage that they're very good on. And then it's can they win the opponent's map or the Decider. Now, I think they have the chance to steal some of the opponent's maps because anyone who plays something like Dust 2, they're certainly going to be in with a shout, Overpass. So even though there might be other teams there that might have the bigger name or whatever, I think Na'Vi, they're just going to hit a heater in this one. I have them to take the tournament.
All right, Steele, 30 seconds. Actually going to give you about 10 plus because, Thorin, we know he likes to talk a little bit, so...
SK, I feels the best going to win IEM Oakland because they are HLTV's #1 team world ranking thing. They've been top 4 in all these past tournaments lately, and aside from an upset at Pro League against C9, they've been pretty consistent, winning a lot of the tournaments, having a lot of standout performances. But more so than that, like they have a lot of star players, they have the potential to do it, and they've been there before, so it makes sense that they can go through and win this.
Dorn, do you have a rebuttal? Please, 1 sentence or less.
Yeah, I think the SK is good, but I think you look at the field and there are teams that can beat them. NIP, I think Astralis maybe was as an upset potential. Cloud9 already did it. Just there we go, that'll do.
All right, Steele, last shot.
Na'Vi already lost a map to Liquid.
Oh, that's the tournament over there. My bad. I concede the point. Yeah.
I mean,
if that's real, we will concede the point right
Definitely
there.
not. Definitely.
it is real. Look it up.
All right, no, I'm going to have to give that one to Thorin right there. But it's okay. Don't feel left out. You got about 4 more to go. Let's go ahead and do the next question. Thorin's going to get that point. Next question. Most surprising team of 2016.
Bloody hell.
C9.
Cloud9.
Oh, I said it first.
Ooh. I believe Josh said it first. Duncan, what's your second choice?
I'll take Dignitas.
Okay, and why is that? Start the timer now.
Wait, he goes first?
Yep.
Oh, right. So, well, the main thing about Dignitas is when the year began, they'd lost their 2-star players. They'd lost Daisy, they'd lost Pimp, and they just had this lineup where, I mean, you saw it didn't go anywhere for the first few months because it was just Kirby, basically. But by the end of the year, somehow, by picking up players from lesser teams like Magic Sport, etc., getting Config to become a better player, somehow getting Cajun B, they've now become a team where legitimately they could win a major at this point in time. And that would have been bonkers at the beginning of the year to say Dignitas could win a major. But they're a team that's going to have a chance at it, and they're probably, I think, a lock to get top 4 at that next major, and they've already won a huge tier 1 event.
Steele, what do you have for Cloud9?
C9 picked up Stewie and Automatic and got that package within the last 3 months, I believe, maybe even like just shy of 3 months. And they've already picked up, like they had an amazing online performance in the EEPL that were like 25-1 or something. They actually won the entire event. They just got second place at the APPROX Masters, just falling short of Immortals. So right here, we see this team that in such a small amount of time, such a, I guess, young team, able to do so well. I think they're just going to keep going on with this performance.
I mean, not even playing favorites here. I do believe that Cloud9 was the absolute surpriser of the of the year, and we do know that because Thorin actually picked that as well. Unfortunately, he wasn't quickest on the draw.
Okay.
So we're going to award that point to Steel. Not a bad pick and dig though. They do, they are on the up and up. So let's go on to the next one. Best current North American in-game leader.
Stewie.
Even out for this one. Okay, I've got a question though. Do you count just people who play on NA teams?
Yeah, we'll do that. It's fun.
Right. I'll say Stanislaw then, since I can't say Stewie.
Oh boy, this should be a barn burner here. Please, by all means, whichever one of you want to go first. You know what? We'll start with Steel.
Yeah, sure. I picked Stewie, and I think Thorin was about to pick Stewie as well, but he was too slow. Surprise, surprise. Stewie came in and took a roster that had very lackluster results for a very long time, a bunch of stagnant players, and he was able to turn that team around and not only just like perform well, but make them just solidified them as the #1 NA team, and then took them to having international success. And if you actually look at how the team plays and operates, you can see that it's largely due to the strat calling and not just individual performances.
No, I do mind, yeah. So, okay, so for Stanislaw...
30 seconds, so...
Yeah, the interesting thing about Stanislaw is that he's a player where people said this lineup wouldn't work, actually. That Daps was the in-game leader. He was supposed to be the guy they had. But you look at how they've turned it around. First of all, they've got Tarek playing at probably the best he's ever played. Mixwell has now gone between AWPing and rifling and is instituted. So they've been able to win this Northern Arena LAN. And I think actually you have now started to see not just default tactics from these guys. They run kind of like proper strategies at this point in time.
All right, Eric, this is a tough one, bud. What do you think?
You don't have any rebuttal?
Rebuttal.
You can give him a rebuttal, but I mean...
I've got a really quick rebuttal,
okay? Let's hear it.
So my rebuttal to
for
Stewie
the pick
would
that
be
you were going to make as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't make it, mate.
True.
I think the problem with Stewie is that not that much of their success, in my opinion, is his actual leadership. Like, I think he just calls around himself, and that's about it. I don't think he does a lot of tactics. I think they just do basics. And in fact, the genius of getting automatic is he's not really playing like any specialist. Like, he doesn't like set something up, have a set straight. He just plays a role within their team. So I think that I think he's a good leader, but I don't think his impact as a leader is that key.
Well, I gave him one, Steel. I have to give you one as well.
Yeah, I mean, Stanislaw, he's had so much time to actually prove himself as an in-game leader. He's been with the Optic guys for a long time, and for them to only have like one noticeable achievement, that being this past weekend, and I didn't even see them at EPL. Like, what was their success there? And
they made top 6 there. Also, he wasn't the in-game leader before. It was Daps who was before.
I mean,
off the ropes.
I mean, even though in this argument, I was going to point out that Stewie, a lot of his success comes from automatic, at least in this last couple months, where it's a duo. It's a duo.
Even though he started with even though.
Well, I mean, they were a duo pretty much, and I don't think it's just Stewie running C9. I think it's like Stewie automatic and nothing, and it's a whole team. But with Optic, I mean, Stanislav was cut and then brought back on, and now he's in-game leader, and now they're successful. So, I mean, he's definitely a top contender, I think, that could be in-game leader.
Collusion.
That helps me about just 0, Eric.
What?
I do appreciate that. So,
I thought he made some great points.
yeah, I mean, I think the actual point here is that being that Stewie 2K and that lineup has seen that success, whereas Optic hasn't. I guess long-term Optic hasn't had Stanislaw at the helm for too long, being that he was replaced by Daps and then brought back on board. So there's that whole thing. Eric, I mean, I don't know about you. I'm gonna have to go with the Stewie 2K pick on this one.
I mean, you're the host. I can't. You have the final word.
But you're the jury. I
thought it'd be Stanislav. I thought he made some.
Oh well, house divided. I'm just gonna flip a coin on this note then.
Oh.
Put on Cam.
Oh, I'm lucky. I'm known to be lucky. How about you, Steele?
No, I get all the time.
Okay, let's see.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one over to. I'm gonna give this one to Steele. And I do actually believe that Thorin's going to come through really strong in the next question. So we're going to.
All right.
I mean, it's
no pressure there.
I wish you were there flipping the coin instead of Valve. You know.
That's a fair assessment. All right. So not even to pretty this one up. Which professional player needs to retire?
Smiths.
What's your second pick there, Josh? Let's hear it.
Legia.
Come on. Okay.
Who? Legia?
He's gone full De Beers on me. Okay. so who's starting then? Me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the problem is essentially, first of all, there might not ever be retirements in CS if it's big enough. You might just go to like the fourth or third best team in your country that is out of the pro scene. But in terms of as a top level pro, Smiths needs to retire. I mean, we've seen at this point in time, he himself, came out with that post flaming all the noobs in which he tried to explain legitimately what he thinks he does in the team, flashing, smoking, doing different things. He even said like an APPROX doesn't have to kill everyone, but now he himself gave up the APPROX. That is the most damning indictment itself, that even he stopped doing his only strength in theory in the team. And now we're in a position where, yeah, he's not a very good player. Everyone pretty much universally says it. And I don't see any of the players, even who say stop bullying Smiths, who give a reason as to why he's doing well or doing his job.
Go ahead, Steele.
Without even having a look at the stats, I could already imagine that Legia is sitting there with the worst stats in the league. And the only reason why, well, there's a few reasons why he's on the team still, and the only reason why he's still in Pro CS, and that's because of his friendship with the other players. So Godby and I guess Tabson. It helps probably, though I'm not too sure, that his girlfriend's the manager of the team. So, I mean, right there, like the only reason why he's still around, I'd imagine, is because he's got these friendships. And if it was down to skill alone, he wouldn't even be on any team.
I'm down to hear some rebuttals on this one because obviously some things are being brought to light here. Let's hear it, Thorin.
So here's the problem. In what context would Legia ever retire at this point in time? And how much further would he even have to drop if he retired? I mean, he wouldn't really. He's already playing for a team that basically only have made it to one meaningful tournament because they got to qualify online in NA and finish top 6. So I think NRG is already just crap anyway. And I don't even think it matters if he retires. They'll get an equally bad team. I mean, they are just NRG. Meanwhile, do you have a rebuttal for me?
Well, I mean, did you just not help my point out there? Like, Legia can retire and it has no impact on anything, but Smiths can go and join another team, like the third, like you go play with Existence on the third best French team or something.
Yeah, they're barely pro though at this point in time, so you'd have to ask what the meaning of retire is. Like, what is Legia never going to play Counter-Strike? Does he have to uninstall as well? That seems a bit harsh. And by the way, Legia will definitely just go to Europe and play on.
I forgot what the question was at this point. So,
okay. Also, again, you were going to pick my name. So, by the rights of fairness, you made me grant you the Cloud9 one.
Yeah, but it's about how well you can argue it, not how good the answer is.
I think you haven't done a very good job so far. So, hit me with some more.
Eric, I'm siding more towards Thorin on this one, just on the general principle here. What do you think, Eric?
I mean, I think the general principle, yes, but also again, earlier in the game, Teal said that Smiths was the person that's supposed to get his groove back. So I don't know if that's automatic point to Thorin because of that. So.
But yeah.
That actually, he does get a contradictory point. So yeah, there we go. There you have it, Thorin.
We
have a tie game.
Whoa! You explained to me. Sorry, hold the phone, man. You explained to me. It doesn't matter how awful your answer is, it's how well you can argue it.
But if you contradict your point, you
That wasn't
lose.
in the rule book. What is this, Valve?
It's weird because, like Valve, I'm also writing the rules right now in real time.
All right.
But nonetheless, so we have a tie game on our hands.
All right.
I actually think that we could break this tie here without going to a tiebreaker. So, most overrated player currently.
Henny.
He said it twice just to make sure you didn't say it once. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Go on.
Who are you going to say, Steele?
Who?
Shocks.
Shocks? Okay. This is going to be good. Please, by all means, take it away, Thorin.
Okay, I've actually done statistical analysis on Henny. He's a player where his rating looks good until you look how many times he has played against North American teams in offline situations. And this is a guy where over something like 120 offline maps, where only something like 40 were against Europeans. So he's playing 2/3 of his career against medium to decent NA teams. He has only scored 30 frags, something like twice in his entire 100 plus maps. Other players who are around that level, Smiths and current Skadoodle. People like Kenny S, 10 times they've had 30 kills or more. So all the metrics, 20 kills or more, 30 kills or more. I think the problem with this guy is he has like party piece shots, but he's not a consistent AWPer, and that's a massive impact role that you need to be playing with that weapon.
Also, I'm going to have to pause you right there. I'm going to go ahead and award a point for the word of right there. I'm just going to go ahead and get a point over to Thorin if I get production to do that. Okay. That would be nice. Steel, you go ahead and let's hear what you have to say about Mr. Shoxy.
About being overrated, right? That's the question that we're still on?
Yes, that is
all
what
right.
we're on.
Shox is just completely overrated. Thorin talks about him all the time, and yet, what's the last thing that Shox has won? Like, where's the last, like, actually, yeah, what is the last thing that Shox has won? Besides, like, a second place or something to Optic? Sorry.
Would you like an answer to that?
No, that was kind of rhetorical and kind of not at the same time.
Okay.
I just think, like, yeah, Shox is a good player, and within his role, like, he's a good aimer. He puts up great stats. He has MVP nominations at events, but in terms of everything, like, he hasn't actually been doing anything successfully in the last few years in CS since, I guess, he was on LDLC at the major. And since then, he's still been talked about and regarded as like, oh, the best player. But he's got nothing to back it up. He's got no results to back it up. Whereas Henny at least does. Sorry, I just added in like a rebuttal into my argument.
Okay. So should I hit him with the rebuttal?
Go ahead, hit him hard.
Okay, so the problem here is at the end he tried to make the equivalency between Henny's results and G2's, and that won't pass at all because G2 second place at ESL Pro League season finals, almost beat LG, the best team in the world. They did beat LG in Fnatic to win ECS season 1. Then they made second place Star Series season 2, where they lost to NIP, but they'd already beaten some good teams. Then, I mean, even this recent result here, okay, I think at let me think what else. Okay, so they had second place at Northern Arena, which isn't sick, but they beat Envious to get it. So they've had some pretty good run of form. Look at the team they have. Shox literally is the only player who isn't a reject in this team. He left out of choice because he was in a power coup within Envious. All the rest of them were literally rejects. Envious was supposed to have all the talent. That's why they went and won a major with their core group. And then instead, Shox, by being one of the best players in the world, who has consistently been this year, dragged this team to suddenly become a pretty good team based around him. And it wasn't until he became in-game leader that clicked into place and they had this sick run of form. Meanwhile, Henny, I mean, he's had some okay results at smaller tournaments, has never qualified for a major, never done anything in E-League, never done anything in a big tournament, basically, except one early in the year.
Just listening to Thorin is just proving my point of how overrated Shox is.
How so?
Eric, let's hear it. Eric, what before these guys, jump through the internet here, let's hear it, Eric.
Well, I'm just going to say Shox plays against Tier 1 teams. Henny plays against North American Tier 2, Tier 3.
Henny plays against Legia.
The other thing is Henny has so many aim locks through walls. Like, I mean, I'm not even going to... I watch a lot of Henny stuff, and it's, I don't know, my radar's off the chart with that guy. So I mean, I can't. I think Shox is a great player. He's a team leader. He calls strats. He's a leader. Henny's just an opper who, as Thorin pointed out, doesn't get a lot of frags against Tier 1 teams, against top European teams. So Shox does. He can. He has.
Oh God. Okay, sorry. No, I just remember that we were. Dude, I had a way better pick. You can have this point.
I mean, if you want to go at it again, that's by all means. That's on you.
No, dude, because now it's gonna sound like talking at this point in time.
I mean, he just called him an aim locker through the wall, so I don't think we're gonna get much worse than that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to go against this person because he's got like all of Reddit behind him.
Tell you what, just throw the name down. Let's hear
Shroud.
it.
The problem with that is I don't think anyone really rates him that much anymore.
Go for it, Josh. We'll just review. We'll just see what happens here. Let's just see where this goes.
All right, Shroud's one of those players that doesn't really contribute much to the teams in the sense of, does he go out of his way to like learn all these smokes and flashes and demo watch, demo review, kind of give this input into his like, hey, like I saw this strat that this other team ran. Maybe it would be cool if we could adapt it. Or, hey, I was watching our demo and I saw that our timings were off on this. He doesn't bring any of that to the table. And then beyond that, like all he's known is like robotic aim and everything and just one-shotting everyone, tapping noobs. And and things like that. But that's from his stream. That's from his like pubbing on his stream, and then all these like the huge community that just sees all these clips of him on Reddit. They're like, oh my God, Shroud's so sick. He's so nuts. Why is he not doing better? Like, what's happening? Like, he's just overrated in that regard because everyone holds him to this higher standard because of some Reddit clips.
Okay, Thorin, with the pick of Henny still as the most overrated player, please attack this man.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I have with the Shroud one is, like, the difference is there are people who think, like, Henny's one of the stars on his team and he's supposed to be one of the best in Brazil, etc. Whereas the problem I have with the Shroud one is, like, maybe in 2015 people rated this guy highly. I don't know anyone who would, like, I don't think you could find a person in the world who'd say he's top 2 on his own team. So I don't know how highly rated this guy is at the moment. I think even in terms of popularity, nothing's probably more popular than him at this point in time. I think Shroud's kind of faded away in that sense. So I think he himself has taken care of any rating he might have had just by being alive.
Is he right or is he wrong, Eric? Is Shroud overrated?
I mean, he makes a point that, again, when people think C9, they think of Automatic and Stewie. They don't think of Shroud.
No, let's think of Shroud 9, but whatever.
Maybe
I see where this is going.
I mean, it's a good point. Thorin makes good points.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give 2 points to Steele for effort, and then I'm going to award the point to Thorin, and we're going to go to one tiebreaker to end this game once and for all. All right? I think that seems to be the way. So we're going to give 2 points to Steele.
You're just dragging the show on at this point.
1 point to Thorin, and we're gonna end this bad boy on a strong note, which could be a rather long note. So, the tiebreaker question is going to be: what country has the most skilled CS:GO players?
Denmark.
It's not bad. North America.
Whoa, North America. Oh,
yeah,
please.
The trolling at the end.
Are you sure? North America.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure I got everything in my head.
I mean,
now.
I believe in the red, white, and blue.
Right,
so,
right.
You know what? Go ahead. Thorin, let's hear it, Thorin.
Okay, so at one point this year, in fact, maybe until Heroic very, very recently lost Glaive, people would have had 3 Danish teams in the top 15 in the world rankings. I mean, Astralis had dropped a bit, but Dignitas has come on strong. And Dignitas is literally now a team that's won a huge event, a tier 1 event, with actually only 1 player that was from the core of the old Astralis team of last year, which is one of the best teams in the world. Astralis still has quality players now. They just got out of the E-League group, and they're gradually getting their feet back under them. They're top 10 again. Heroic, a month ago or so, was top 10. They had a pretty good level of standard. And there's still players outside even of those players that you could have. AZ is over on FaZe and is still considered a skilled player. Pimp's playing on Team Liquid. I actually think the level of talent that you see in Denmark is crazy because you're talking about some of the best players in the world, Magic's Boy, Config, Device. But then you go to the medium level, they've got your players like, obviously you've got Zipnix, you've got Kirby, you've got people like AZ, and then you go to the lower levels, they've even got the in-game leaders, they've got Carrigan, they've got MSL, they've got pretty much everything across the board, I think.
All right, before Josh takes away, let's give Eric a few points. He's looking a little lonely down there.
Don't give me pity points. Don't give me pity points.
Steele, please explain to us why NA is the powerhouse.
I think NA's got like all these players that have insane individual skill. It's just that the politics is keeping them apart, really. So you have all these really talented players that if they were just on the same team would have major finalists. Like we have players like A2Z, who is probably the best player in the world right now, and he can't get on a team because of politics.
Yeah, well, in that note,
what? He's forfeited the point already. No rebuttal needed, sir. Just replay his clip over again.
Okay.
Just replay his clip.
And then you have players like Mo. Like Mo is probably the best. Look at the rankings that
he concedes the game
like 6 years ago.
It would appear as though Steele, there's about no way on earth that you're going to follow through with either of those picks. And I do believe we have a winner here. And Thorin, it's pretty obvious. So congratulations,
I bet you
Thorin.
feel real good about your win now, Thorin.
I know.
I got disqualified.
Yeah, well, what's new, eh? What's new? So,
Oh, jeez.
Okay, boys.
I personally want to thank all 3 of you for coming out and participating. I would hope to see at least 2, or if not all 3 of you back at some point. And with that being said, if you have any shout outs, please, Thorin, you have the stage because you are the champ.
Okay. Shout out to Bears for probably some of those ridiculous, like, I've realized now he wasn't trolling. I think he actually like seriously believes some of these opinions and that he's just that far out there. So congrats for being very entertaining, and congrats to Steele for participating. You know, it's not who wins in the end that matters, you know, it's just to take him part. So
Bleep this out.
Steele, hit us with some sign off there.
No, it was a fun show. I enjoyed being on it. It was fun having a little bit of bants with the Bears, and yo, what's up, Duncan? I guess.
all right, yeah.
All right, good deal. And as always, Mr. Stromberg, funny man. Pew 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 pew.
I appreciate the offer of the show. It's great talking to you guys again, seeing you guys, Steele and Thorin. I'm glad that there's no crouch or cam shot in my nuts. As from the,
I'm glad about that as well.
Yeah, you know, like I'm glad that's not there. So it's good, all good times, and that's fun.
Is that an inside joke?
But the last interview that he did of me, like it was like 3-4 years ago when I was in Complexity.
Oh, right.
He put the camera right on the table, and it's
Okay.
like I look like a porn star from the '80s because it's just like right in my crotch, it's a bulge and everything.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna sign us off. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.
Boo, 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 boo.
It's hard to do it when Thorin actually like memorizes every single roster change, the dates, the stats of every player. Well, this guy's got a 1.37 rating, but only at this event. At the other event, it was a 1.32, and the average of this is 1.345.
It's tough. I mean, he's a good argument.
Yeah.